All right, Brooke. So here we are with you today and going over stuff. First of all, tell us who you are and give us a little bit of your bio and what's going on.
Sure. My name is Brook Richard. I live in Paducah, Kentucky now. I work for Higdon Outdoors, Power Calls, and MOmarsh. I'm originally from Lafayette, Louisiana. Moved here to Paducah, Kentucky to work for Higdon Outdoors. Been here for about 5 years now. And here we are. I love duck hunting, love chasing specks. Used to be a lot more involved with competition calling, duck and spec in the past, but here recently, I've life happens. Been really busy with work, so I hadn't got to do it as much as possible, but still get to hunt a good bit. Blessed enough to co-host our TV show, Higdon Outdoors Television, and living the dream. Get to
Yeah,
do what I love for a living and work for a great company with a lot of great people.
and you soon to be married here soon, ain't you?
That's right. April 10th, 2021, headed to South Louisiana in 48 hours to go have our wedding shower and Christmas with the family. So it's happening.
Oh,
It's
nice.
coming.
It's coming. That's everybody. It comes for everybody, whether you're ready for it or not at some point.
I'm ready for it to be over between you and
Yeah.
I.
So that's the way I was. My wife. I said, "Hey, you plan it. You tell me. You tell me when to be there and what time to be there, and just make sure it's not these dates on the
What?
calendar, and we'll be all
Yes, babe, whatever you want. Just let me
right."
know when to be there.
That's right. So getting back into the calling competitions, what was your typical calling competition style? Because I mean, you were originally a guide, right?
Sure.
And you did a lot of spec hunting, right? It's kind of your forte. Was calling the
Yeah.
same way?
Yeah. So I actually got into competition duck calling probably 2007, 2008, I think is my first contest. I was actually working at a hunting store in high school, and I picked up the phone one day to reorder some duck calls, and Buck Gardner answered, and he said, "Yeah, I'd love to teach you how to blow a duck call. Here's my cell phone number. Call me." And I called him every single day, and he would help me out. And long story short, fast forward a few months, I'm going up to Memphis to go hunt with Buck, and he's helped me out a ton. So he put me under his wing, really got me going, and blew my first duck calling contest, Main Street style is what I started out in. And 2008, 2009, somewhere around there. Don't quote me. And really, the rest is history. I just jumped in and loved it and started doing that and met a lot of really nice people. And Main Street duck calling super popular in Arkansas. So the connections that I made in Arkansas allowed me to meet some people who own guide services who are also involved in competition duck calling in Arkansas. Charles Petty, uh, he put me under his wing. He's one of my other mentors. But really, my way in was, hey, duck hunting's not so great here. I own a guide service in Arkansas. We've got a ton of specs. You're from South Louisiana. You can run a spec call. Would you mind coming work for us? That way our
Oh
customers, don't cancel their hunts and we can still shoot some birds type of thing. So I had a
yeah,
really interesting way into that. And that's really how I got started guiding, just through spec hunting, and then, furthered my career in competition calling. And later on down the road, started doing more duck guiding and really just doing it because I loved it. But that's how I kind of ended up in the deep end of the pool between competition duck calling and where I am now. It's a gateway drug, and they don't tell you that on the front end. It just happens real quick. But I'm glad it worked out.
nice. So when you did all that, you said you Buck Gardner and you started working all that. Now, how do you transition from that to get where you are now with power calls and Higdon? And
Sure. Yeah. So I was guiding for a gentleman, Charles Petty, who's anybody in competition calling knows who Charles Petty is. He's the Gray Fox. He's an older gentleman now, but I think he holds the record for most consecutive qualifications for World Duck. He qualified 25 years in a row. He's won Senior World Duck Calling Championship. He's just a great guy. He's a great mentor to a lot of young callers. Um, I met Charles in the parking lot, in the police station parking lot across from the Main Street stage in Stuttgart at a contest. And he was just trying to help me, hey, I see you're nervous, your first contest.
yeah,
Here's my number, call me. And then, things progressed. He became a great friend. He helped me out a ton. I went hunting with him, started guiding for him a little bit. And Charles was involved with Higdon way before I was. And I was introduced to Higdon decoys through Charles guiding in Jonesboro, Arkansas area. And
yeah,
that's Charles. What are these giant duck decoys? Like, those are Higdon battleships. They're the best. You shoot them, whatever. And then guiding for them, I got to see how impactful they really were. And then one day I saw a spec decoy, and it was a Higdon spec decoy. And I asked Charles. I said, Charles, what is this thing? He said, it's a spec. And Higdon makes it. I said, no, it's not. Who do I call at Higdon? I want to help them make a better spec decoy. And he said, here's Ben Higdon's number. Call him. So I called Ben Higdon. He challenged me, and a few PowerPoint presentations and phone calls later, Ben just finally said, "You want to work here?" And I said, "Well, yeah, yeah, I'm interested. What do we have going on?" And he said, "I'm book a flight, fly up here. We want to sit down and talk to you." And that was right whenever Power Calls was about to be launched. This was 2016, um, about January 2016, and I flew up, met with Ben and John Higdon, the owners of Higdon Outdoors, and then Kelly Powers, one of the founder of Power Calls, and they were just telling me, "Hey, we've got this great thing going with Higdon. We want you involved in that, but Power Calls is coming down the pipe. You'd be great at that too." And we just hit it off. They offered me a job. I took it. Fiance and I packed up and moved here a month later, and that's what we've been doing now. I function as a general manager here at Power Calls. Earlier today, I've just got finished tuning a bunch of spec calls and duck calls and packaging them and filling orders. It's our busy time.
Yeah.
Christmas is coming, so that's really how that happened. It was just knowing the right people, um, just having the right connections. I've got more luck than sense, and I'm too stupid to give up a lot of times. So that's really, without competition duck calling, I would have never been at the table because I'd have never met the people, who trusted me enough to stick their neck out and say, "Yeah, here's, Ben Higdon's number. Call him if you want to help him. I'm sure he'd love some help." So I credit a lot of my success to where I am now through competition duck calling. It's a great way to meet new people, and not only that, but learn and progress yourself as a hunter. So not that it's for everybody, but it was perfect for me, and it opened a lot of doors. So that's how I got here from South Louisiana to Paducah, Kentucky. It's put me at the table.
Yeah, that sounds like divine intervention right there, and a little bit of
Yeah.
pre-planning and forethought.
I don't know. I mean, I get asked all the time, "Brooke, how do I get where you are?" It's like, I don't know, honestly. Be too stupid to quit, and hope you've got really good luck, because these jobs just don't come around. Hard work and skill will only get you so far. I mean, I really just, the people I've met and the places I've been able to go through competition calling or what got me the opportunity. So, not that it was just all luck, but I wouldn't be here without luck. So anybody listening, if you want to know how to end up working in the outdoor industry, you just get out there, meet a lot of people, and dive in, and don't be scared to get told no a million times, because I don't know how I'd have got here, without Charles, or just a few strikes of good luck is really what put me
Yeah.
here. And I just wanted to do it, and I wasn't going to take no for an answer. And eventually the right opportunity came along. And through the pro staff organizations I was involved with, Mossy Oak and Buck and even Rich and Tone. And, just as I grew up and started meeting more people and doing more things, I really just, found my way down the road of, these are people who were like-minded, that love the same thing I love. One day I'm going to have an opportunity, and it took 7, 8 years to get that opportunity. But when it came around, I jumped on it, and I'm glad I did, because it's worked out. It really has.
And you think you bring a good point, and you kind of subvertly was saying it. But the way I tell people this, with because of course I do stuff with y'all and other companies and whatnot, but I've always been a relationship over sponsorship type person.
Absolutely.
Where that relationship, that's face to face, that phone call, that real communication, real help out, that kind of stuff. And
Hmm.
to me, that's always suited me better in the long run than going around and
Sure.
chasing. And kind of like you, like for me, I've never went out and chase, partnerships with companies I've never used their products or don't like their products.
Yeah.
So like the companies I do have partnered with now, I mean, I've been using their products for a long time before I ever was partnered with them, and I have different kind of levels of sponsorships and partnerships. And I get asked it all the time. People even ask me if I have my own. Yeah, but people are just reaching out. "Hey, man, you got pro staff? Can I be part of your pro staff?" I'm like, "Man, I ain't got
Yeah.
no products. I'm just,
Right.
you're barking up the wrong tree here." So,
Right.
but yeah, so I tell everybody, the relationships over sponsorships, you got to reach there. First of all, like you knew what a spec duck was, what a spec goose was. You know what it's supposed to look like. You
Sure.
know what a spec buddy decoy should look like. Bring them in, not bring them in, and
Yeah.
you just start that relationship, and you fed into something else, relationship
Yeah.
with Buck and Charles and all them. So I think
Sure.
that's key. You bring up a good point there. You can't just go beating down every door for everybody and just say, hey, give me, give me, give me.
Yeah.
You got to bring something to the table too, whether it be
Sure.
insights or personality or something.
Yeah. And that, I mean, really what I think set me apart from a lot of people is I was willing to do a lot for nothing. I was involved with Mossy Oaks pro staff, and I was involved with, different call companies. And then I got on Higdon's pro staff for a year or two before I even started working at Higdon. And I just wanted to help because I cared about it. I never really asked for anything. I was going to do it anyway. And it was
Yeah.
nice to do it for people who appreciated it. And um, pro staff has really drifted away from a lot of that. There's a lot of people who want to be on pro staff to say that they're pro staff, but I mean, you're involved with the Higdon Outdoors pro staff organizations, and that's not how we roll. It's like-minded people who help each other, and it's friends first, and that's all that matters. If a better opportunity crosses your plate, we want you to take it because we want what's best for you, and you feel the same way towards. I mean, things just work when you're humble and you don't ask for a lot and you're willing to help. Things happen whenever you're just genuinely passionate about what you do and the products you use. Same thing with MOmarsh. Before we acquired MOmarsh here at Higdon, we were having a conversation here internally, and it was, the next move for Higdon was, as we diversified, getting into soft goods and blinds. And I just said, if we're going to get into blinds before we do anything, MOmarsh is the best thing out there. I've been using Visilab for years. It's the best blinds and products you can get. We should just think about buying them. And everyone thought I was crazy, but I really felt that way. And, not that I'm taking any credit for that, but it really allowed us to look at, there's value in having the best and being the best. And who are we to just go copy something? That's not what we do. So I'm really glad that brought us to MOmarsh. And, fast forward a few months, we actually did acquire MOmarsh, which got you here, which is great. So,
Yeah.
it's a gift that keeps giving. So
That's right. Yeah. Maybe for me more so than y'all. That's it.
right. No, it goes both ways. I mean, Ira did a phenomenal job of building the product line and building the team. Him, Joe, and Josh Ditch over there at MOmarsh built a great team, and the MOmarsh staff just fits so well into the Higdon staff because everybody who was on the MOmarsh staff just wanted to help out, and that's what we do here. So we got great products, and now we got more great people. So the family just keeps getting bigger.
Yeah, and to me that was kind of interesting how you talk about just luck and whatnot. I had bought a MoMarsh product, and when I decided I was going to start doing some YouTube reviews and stuff, I got the Invisible. I'd actually messaged Ira and said, "Hey," because he's usually pretty prominent on social media. Is like, "Look, I want kind of one
Yeah.
thing," and I told
Yeah.
kind of my area. I was like, "Would you recommend Invisiman or Invisible?" I told him what I was looking at. He's like, "Oh, Invisiman all day." I was like, "Roger." So I bought that.
Yeah.
Then did a little YouTube review on it. It got, I don't know, like 10,000 views. And Joe Weimer
Yeah.
messaged me, who was doing all the
Yeah.
marketing stuff for MOmarsh. And
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey, man," because I got this other kind of venture thing going on, and he was doing Hunter's Wholesale. And I was
Yeah.
like, "Would you willing to help me out, and we'll kind of share each other's stuff."
Yeah.
And that's how that worked. And then got on MOmarsh with them. And then y'all bought up MOmarsh. And then, round and round we go. And I
Yeah.
think you're right. It was a good fit because, like you two, we talked about even Higdon products before, and you said, we're not going to remake somebody else's product. If we can make it better than they do, then we will. If not, then we're going to keep doing what we're doing. And when you
Yeah.
bought them out, I think, like you're saying, though, MoMarsh is already making the best products in that field. So if you can't to make better products, can't beat them, join them type deal. It's kind of
Yeah.
how
I mean, and you can't. And that's exactly. I stood my ground, and it's like all the MOmarsh stuff is highly patented, and it is the best out there. I don't want to play second fiddle to anybody if we're going to do this. We can't beat them. Let's go join them. Let's do it. Let's see. Let's just see if they're interested. And I'm really happy they did because I mean, I've still got MOmarsh products from back when I was guiding 6, 7 years ago that are still
Oh yeah.
working. It's like that. It's what I want. It's like, Dad, can we please buy that company? So it worked out great. But it is. I mean, man, that the MOmarsh product line it is second to none. For shallow water systems and dog comfort and all. I'm a little biased, but it really is the best stuff out there, period. And that's just how I feel. So I'm
Well, I
glad to
mean,
be a part of it.
just like you were saying, we were already using it before there's
Yeah.
things. So you already believed in the product before you put your personal money into it first.
Yeah.
You know,
Makes it easy. Yeah.
yeah. And
Definitely does.
you and I got a little bit of common interest in the dog world. We like running dogs, doing stuff like that. And then
Sure.
to me, I get to the point where if I can't even take a dog, it's like, is somebody bringing a dog at least? I just
Right.
it makes you sick if you don't have one, a good one, or somebody's
Yeah.
good one. And so you just kind of
Yeah.
look at it that way. So
Everybody
having
normally
those
looks at me.
products there.
I'm normally the smallest guy in the blind, and they're like, "Hey, why don't you just go walk out there, Brooke?" I'm like, "No, no. I asked you if I could bring my dog. You told me no. That's good luck. No,
Yeah, I've
not
had
doing
those
it."
days when I was a young kid in the blind. It was all right, kitty, go get
Yeah.
that cripple. Yeah, so then I
Mm.
wised up and got a dog
Yeah,
because
I'll
I was
put my
becoming crippled.
I'm not above it, but I'll take my dog hunting versus take my dog hunting in a C plus spot, knowing I'm gonna go kill 2 ducks, over going hunt an A plus spot with no, with no dog, knowing I'm gonna go kill 100. I'll go hunt for my dog every day of the week versus just go and shoot them up. I'd much rather bring my dog, watch my dog work. I could call them in, watch everybody else shoot them, and just run my dog and be happy as can be.
Yeah.
I could care less if I ever pull the trigger or not, but it's a every now and then. Now I have to do it, but no, it's
Yeah.
I love the aspect of bringing a dog is just calling, working my dog in no particular order. That comes first compared to shooting and anything else that involves how many birds you kill. It's like, yeah, as I just want to kill as many as my dog's willing to pick up, and I'm cool with it.
That's right. So talking about products and whatnot in Higdon. So when I first started getting products to y'all, I actually started off in your motion duck. I
Sure.
think first product I got was like the Gen 1 uh, feeder splasher.
Yeah, the
The
pulsator. Yeah.
pulsator, yeah, pulsator.
Yeah.
The first generation was the hard box, the single unit, not the multiple unit.
Yeah. Hmm.
And what drew me to y'all was that, and I did have some issues. And another thing I like about y'all are y'all not afraid to go back to drawing board and rework something, upgrade something, make something better.
Yeah.
And with that one, especially where I was at here in Alabama, I was having a problem with them freezing up, burning the fuses out.
Sure.
And those little tubular fuses that y'all were putting in there that we couldn't find. No, I went to every store. I
Yeah.
couldn't find stone guns nowhere. And I called, and I think it was actually you that answered the phone. He's like, "Yeah, man, just be honest with you. We thought those were a readily available fuse or not." He's like,
Yeah.
I'll send you some. A
Yeah.
couple days later, I had a package of little fuses, and that was great. And then of course y'all went on to the new products from there and
Yeah.
everything. And people talk about it like, "Oh, why you talk about something tearing up?" Well, anything that's mechanical, electrical, by itself is going to eventually wear down, tear up. Now you take freezing weather, water, mud, talk about being rough on stuff. I can tear up a steel hitch. You know what I'm saying? So like, but
Duck
it's
hunters are pretty good at breaking.
stuff, and
Yeah.
so I mean, it's no problem to me. Now, if it's something's out of the box broke, that's a different story. But
Sure.
I mean, when you hunt hard like we do,
Sure.
my stuff crosses the country. I may be in flooded timber in
Hmm.
Alabama in cattail grass or floating marsh grass, and then next weekend I'm dragging the same stuff to rice fields in Arkansas, bean fields. Just get
Sure.
seeing a lot of different products. So when
Yeah.
stuff like that tears up, one thing I was going to talk about, and me and JD had talked about last year at NWTF, got some footage of, was the refurbished program that y'all have, which I think is a big deal. Literally last year, I took
Sure.
a whole big box I had through every piece of electronic Higdon thing I had in there to include the Gen 1 pulsators.
Yeah.
I was like, hey man, just make them work.
Yeah.
I sent them off, and JD got busy at it, and then I got a box full of all new refurbished stuff in there, and
Yeah.
I've been using it for 2 seasons now again. So
Yeah.
and I think we're kind of getting away from that on all of our. Of course, we're gear people, being in the duck hunting world, especially. We're all about the gear.
Sure.
But I think our generation in general, we're getting away from refurbishing stuff, and it's just all throw something away, buy something new. So I think the
Yeah.
refurbished program y'all have at Higdon's a big deal. If you want to talk about that for a second.
Yeah, and it's a great deal too. All of our products, our motion products, come with a 6-month warranty from the date of purchase. So that's theoretically a duck season. If it's going to break, it's going to break within the first couple of times you use it. If not, and you take care of it, it's bound to last you forever. Things wear out and go bad over time, but we sell all of our replacement parts for, not for profit. All of our replacement parts are pretty much what we have in them. We're not trying to make profit. We're just trying to keep our products in use through our replacement parts. That way people can continue to enjoy them. But when your warranty does expire, and it's like your Gen 1 pulsator, it might be 7 years old. You can
Oh
go
yeah,
through our refurbished program. You print out a simple sheet on the Higdon website, whether you've got a receipt or not, doesn't matter. You mail us a Higdon product that's outside of warranty. You're responsible to mail it to us. When we get it, we see who it's for, what it is. We go through and we call you and say, here's what it's going to take to fix it. You may be better off just getting a new unit, but it's only going to cost you up to $40 to fix, most of the motion units. So for up to $40, you get that Gen 1 pulsator replaced or completely repaired, and then you get a warranty. So you figure we're shipping it to Alabama. You've got $10 shipping it to us, $40 getting the whole thing replaced or repaired, top to bottom, $10 shipping it back. So for $60, you've got a brand new unit. That would have cost you 130, 140 to buy a brand new one. So it's great to continue to refurbish older units because there's nothing wrong with them. Things just go bad, and that's part of it. Electricity and water don't get along. We try to make stuff tough as nails, but you give anything to a duck hunter and they'll find a way to break it. And I'm the same way. I'm guilty of it
Yeah.
too, especially when you start talking about electronics and water and cold temperatures and boat rides and rangers and throwing stuff out of the back of a pickup truck and your dog walking on it and throwing stuff in
People
and out of
shooting at
boats.
them.
I mean, the
Yeah.
sky's the limit there, but our refurbish program is a really, really good bonus to purchasing a product through Higdon because, even if it's out of warranty, and let's just say it's 2 years old, and you may be upset and say, Brooke, I just bought this thing. It's not even 2 years old. I've only hunted with it 20 days. And you send me a picture and I'm like, yeah, well, you stepped on it. That's why you broke your bilge pump. If you didn't, someone else did, but I'm not going to run you through the ringer. Just go through the refurb program. It's going to cost you $20. Just ship it back. We'll get you a new bilge pump. We'll look it over top to bottom. We'll have a warranty on the backside. That way, when your buddy steps on it again, it's covered. So, there's just so many things you can do with a motion unit.
Yeah.
One thing that we don't want people doing is throwing them away just because one little thing's broken. So refurb program's an option that a lot of our customers utilize. And JD is right at the front of that here. He takes that one on. He's the spearhead of that project, and he does a great job. He enjoys fixing them, bringing them back to life, and they're like new. So if you have a Higdon product and you're not familiar with our refurbish program, go to the website, click on the refurb tab, read that little sheet, and you'll be shocked at how much money you've probably thrown away because you didn't know we'd fix it for super cheap. So definitely check that out if you have a Higdon product before you start throwing stuff away. We want you to buy a new product, but if we can save you some money and you can be hunting with 10 pulsators instead of 2, we want
That's
you
right.
hunting with 10 of them.
That's right. Always to bring up Chris, we talk about him a lot of times. You and I get together, but he said y'all were pretty astounded that day y'all come and hunted with him. He had 10 swimmers sitting in the middle of his duck spread. He said there's 10 of them going around there. He said if I had 20, I'd put 20 of them out there.
Well, I called him and said, man, what do you need us to bring? We've got to hunt over Higdon stuff exclusively. And he said, man, I'm running 4 dozen fully flocked mag mallards and about a dozen fully flocked mag mallard swimmers from 2 or 3 years ago. I was like, really? Yeah. It's like, okay, well, you want anything else? Because we're willing to bring stuff for you. And we got out there, and if one works, 10 is better.
That's right.
That's just the part of water motion. It's not like a spinning wing. Ducks will never get used to a decoy looking like a duck. They may get used to birds landing constantly, but the pulsators and swimmers, there's a reason people like Chris are using them. It's just subtle, super realistic. He's hunting a spot that has ducks. All you have to do is not mess it up and get their attention. And not that it can't be tough, but he knows what he's doing. He's as good of a duck hunter as he's a dog trainer. That's for dang sure.
That's right. I think I hunted with him like the weekend after y'all did. I guess that was last year. Yeah, last season. And we was talking about y'all just getting there. And I said, yeah. I said, and I was actually left my camp. I was going to hunt with him before I went home. So I'd left my club that I get from him as well. I was hunting with him, and we're sitting there about bedtime. Like, we's all sleepy. All right, we're going to get up and hunt in the morning. We was talking about y'all being there the weekend before. And I was talking about, how I actually took a bunch of y'all's, because you can do remotes on y'all's products, a lot of y'all's products as well. I said, I just got done wiring everything up and charging up. And it was, well, you got them here with you? Well, yeah, they're in my truck. Well, what size line you got on them? I've been hunting rice fields, big fella, 2-foot line, He's like, you think we put some 8-foot line on them? I was like, I guess so. So here we are, 10 o'clock at night, relining these because he wanted to use them the next morning because he wanted to see the splash and flashers and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a lot of old school hunters in his club who don't always like it, but because I had a remote on through the plug and play process y'all have, I could just boom, hit it and shut everything off when it didn't want to. And they just thought that was the coolest thing, and I was the king of the castle for the day.
They've got a super cool spot out there too. I'm sure the decoys help, but the time and effort they put in to that spot, it's and I grew up hunting and guiding 7 miles down the road from
really
where his place is where I grew up hunting with Charles Petty. And One of my favorite places in the world to hunt's right there in Cache.
Oh
And I
yeah.
never knew that. I've passed by there scouting for birds, looking around. I never knew Chris was involved in that, but that is a primo piece of property they've got there. We won't tell anybody else where it is, but it's a
Oh
special
yeah, no,
place.
I don't want to get my invite card pulled. That's for sure.
Loose lips, sink ships. A wise man once told me never duck hunt with somebody who you wouldn't rob a bank with.
That's
So
right.
I'll make
Somebody
sure
got.
Chris doesn't cut me off.
But going back to those products, you talk about the wear and tear. Even on the motion stuff, I've noticed that more times than not, it's the traveling in between that mess
Yeah,
mine up. So I bought, like, y'all come out with some new bags last year, like
yeah,
the big 12 slot Velcro bag. And for me, what saved me, I feel like the most was actually getting when I got done, put them in the correct slotting, the correct bags, the wires
sure,
right away. Dogs ain't stepping on them in the back. People ain't throwing guns
yeah,
on them. And little stuff like that, will make them last longer. I keep telling
sure.
people as far as
It's
electronics are life.
it's funny, I hunt with a lot of people that aren't as rough on their stuff as I am because heck, I like my money and I don't like wasting money, so I take care of my stuff. I like my stuff clean. I'm just like that. But you know this as well as I do, working a bunch of shows. The hardest thing on a decoy or a motorized decoy in particular, or some of these shows that we work at, like Rogers and Max, having them in a concrete parking lot in a pool with toddlers and kids, grabbing them and throwing them. It is. You can go take a brand new pulsator and hunt it 6 seasons and never have an issue like you'll have with a 6-month old grabbing a brand new pulsator out of a pool in a parking lot at Rogers Sporting Goods or Max Prairie Wings and dropping it on the ground. It's the traveling and the human side of things that's really rough on these products. If you just put a pulsator out and let it run nonstop at your duck club, you'd never have an issue. But it's grinding against concrete, flying around the bed of your truck, getting stepped on. All those things are these products aren't made to do that. They're made to last where they're hunting. We're always trying to make things better, and we've got some really cool stuff in the works. But it's just astonishing to me how bad a brand new decoy looks after a group of kids play with one in a concrete parking lot. It's like, what has happened? Like, I've got 10-year-old decoys that don't look this bad, but it's just part of it. If you use it, you'll lose it. We make some of the most durable products in the world. And if you're not taking care of your stuff, oh boy, you got me.
I got you, bud.
If you're not taking care of your stuff, you can't expect it to last forever. And that's just about anything, whether it's your shotgun or your truck or your dog, or anything.
Yeah.
You got to take care of things, especially if it's helping you shoot more birds, because we need all the dang help we can get. Apparently, the last few seasons we've had, I don't want
Yeah,
I don't
it's
want to I don't want to leave home with some
yeah.
with a bunch of broken products. I want them all to work because I may need every single one of them to get the job done.
Yeah, and like I said, that's what's really, and then getting into the motion ducks, then I started looking at your full body specs, your swimmers,
Sure.
stuff like that, and you start getting into things. Even your higher end decoys I have. To me, it's astonishing that I can throw them on a rice field with
Hmm.
very little wind,
Sure.
and 6 inches
Yeah.
of water, and they're just a. I mean, it doesn't take much, and that's
Yeah.
there's a lot more engineering than just make it look like a duck. Which is what I
Yeah.
explain to people. Expensive is cheap. You get what you pay for.
Sure.
Do you want it to last 10, 15, 20 years and, maybe reflock the head every other decade or that kind of
Right.
stuff? Or are you just going to throw junk out there? To me, expensive is cheap.
Right.
You get what you pay for on those kind of products. So
There's no
of course,
doubt.
I'm a fan,
Yeah. Man, and duck hunting is just one of those sports. It's not like fishing. Yeah, you can go spend $200 and buy a bunch of Zebco products and, popping corks. You go get a canoe, and then you look across the lake and see a guy in $100,000 Ranger Comanche with a bunch of G Loomis rods and reels. And at the end of the day, not that that's what it takes to be successful, but he's going to spend less time messing around with his gear and more time catching fish. And as much time and effort as we put into this sport that we love, being hunting, it's hard to justify not spending the money for better gear because it's just one less thing to go wrong. I hear so many people complain about the price of things, and not even decoys, shotgun shells or hearing protection or shotguns or waders. It's like, you're telling me you're going to go spend 20 days before season brushing blinds and pumping water and driving a tractor and all these things, and you're going to complain about the difference between spending $400 on a shotgun and $800 on a shotgun when you've already got 20 grand invested in this duck season. The one thing
yeah,
that matters, that's it. They're tools. They're not toys. Don't buy a bunch of toys and expect to get results, because eventually you're going to have, stuff sinking, stuff breaking, things not working. You're going to spend more time dealing with a bunch of broken things than you will actually enjoying what you're there to do. So, I mean, and that's not necessarily for decoys, but that's just everything that is involved in waterfowl hunting. Every aspect of it is that way. You get what you pay for. Not that you have to have the best of everything, but don't take the short route because it's gonna bite you in the butt every time. You're gonna look at yourself and you're gonna say, I can't believe we skipped out. We could have spent $10 more per dozen and we wouldn't be messing with all this stuff. And it just we're there to enjoy ourselves. Do yourself a favor. Don't skip out on quality products. It doesn't have to be the most expensive, but do your homework, buy stuff that works, buy tools, not toys. And you're gonna be thankful that you didn't just take the easy way out. It goes a long way.
Yeah, and qualities, like you said, it's not just you're with the decoy and blind companies. We're talking about that now, but it's not just with that. One of your partners, Eukanuba. I'm on
Yeah,
the Eukanuba staff as well, and
sure.
people complain to me, oh, that's a 50-pound bag of dog food. If you buy it on Chewy's, $44. I'm like, man, I'm feeding, I'm down a cup, and I'm
Yeah,
saving
I'm
on
feeding.
that.
Yeah, I'm feeding 30% less.
Yeah,
You know,
and I'm
my
getting
dog.
more.
I mean, it's like, yeah, my dog is happier because it doesn't spend a lot of its energy digesting food, so I can feed it less. It's happier. It's got quicker rebound time, and it's running just as hard, if not harder, because it feels
Mhm.
better and it's getting. I mean, that is the mindset of waterfowl hunting. It's you don't have to spend the most money on everything. Spending a lot of money is not going to help you kill more ducks, but it will save you from cursing at everybody and blaming everybody else when stuff's not working out and ducks are
Mhm.
flying and your gun's jamming or your boots have a hole in them. You just do your homework. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but if you buy quality stuff, it makes what we're doing a whole lot more enjoyable. And that's everything, whether it's golf or yachting or hunting. I mean, and you can relate duck hunting to yachting because it's about as expensive, at the end of the day. But fishing, I mean, that's everything. You just spend a little bit of time. Look at what a lot of people who are doing this more than 20 days a season are using, guides and whoever. And there's a reason they're using Invisilabs. There's a reason they're using Battleship decoys. There's a reason that they're purchasing some of these products made by other companies. Heck, it's because they don't have to worry about it. And peace of mind and your time are the two most valuable things when you're enjoying a hobby and a passion like duck hunting.
That's right. So
Yeah,
getting on to one of the other products we talked about a little bit, power calls. Me,
sure.
I'm not the best caller there. I know a lot of people probably tell you that, but I mean, I can do my grit call, my hell call, my feed chuckle,
That's
and
all you
usually
need.
that's about all I got. I can. I started spec calling a couple years ago as I got in that spec highway there, Northeast Arkansas. I was like, hey, I need these things are really nice at 80 yards. I'd like to get me a little closer,
Right.
So start
Right.
spec calling to them. So, and talking about the calls for a little bit, and you brought it up earlier, you've already been tuning calls, dancing with that. So these are not something that's coming off the shelf and y'all throw them in a box and sending them out.
No.
I mean, I know you've done 4 or 5 calls for me last year.
Hmm.
I bought some. I actually got them hanging up here. I'm in Arizona right now. I didn't want to bring all my expensive calls uh, here to Arizona, so I bought some just the plastic calls.
Sure.
To use a mallard, a teal, and a whistle, and then it's getting the job done just as good as anything
Heck
else.
yeah.
I just didn't want to haul my carbon fibers everywhere. So
Sure.
the process with y'all and Kelly and getting all that rolling, and y'all really taking a more scientific approach to it. And then you and I talked about this before, maybe getting people to start off on a single read before they ever. Not that anything wrong with the double read, but I think if you can blow a single read, then you can weigh on the double read later. And I
Yeah,
think you're a big proponent of that as well.
I definitely, and that's just the way I was taught. I'm not saying it's right, but everyone who I've ever met that can proficiently blow and run a single read duck call can run a double read. Everyone I've met that sounds decent on a double read doesn't necessarily always know how to run a single read. So my thought process, whether I'm teaching a new caller or a kid, is if you don't ever have to lean on training wheels and learn how to ride a bike, you never know they're there. Why start there? I mean, it's not that much different. Yeah, it's a little bit more finicky. You learn how to blow a single read versus a double read, but that second read there, yeah, there's some sounds that sound great in a double read, but you can manipulate a single read if you truly learn how to blow a single read. You can make just about every sound uh, that a mallard duck can, and learning on a single read is going to prevent you from having to lean on that crutch being the second read and a double read call. So if you can skip the training wheels process and just start with a single read and build a good foundation with a single read, it's very easy to pick up a double read if that's what you truly want later down the road. If you learn to blow on a double read, you're going to have a lot of bad habits to break if you really want to step into a single read. That, single reads are known for more range and more volume. So if you've learned on a double read and that's what you've always blown, but you've decided you want to take the next step and then go to a single read, it's a lot harder to go from a double read to a single read than a single read to a double read.
So what's your go-to call? What's hanging in the center of your lanyard that you pick up 9 times out of 10?
I've got my ignition, which is our cut down call. We hunt a lot in the woods, and I love it. I use it everywhere. I've just got back from Washington. I was blowing a cut down call at ducks in the rainforest and in the mountains, and it works. It's just my mentality. I command ducks. My thought process in calling ducks is not necessarily trying to sound like a duck, but I blow a duck call to get a duck's reaction. So I like aggressive calling. I wait. I use it on the corners. I like to be aggressive and very punctual. Whenever I talk to that duck, I'm not asking it what to do. I'm telling it what to do. And a lot of times it bites me in the butt, but more times than not, it works. Because a lot of people don't call that way, and it's been very helpful for me. But we've also got a call called the charge that I've that I like. That's been my go-to. But here the last year, I've been running a different call that we're coming out with next year. Can't tell you the name, but it's a new call, and it's a single read duck call. It's not a cut down, but it's a really cool one. Me and Kelly have the only two. We've been using them here for the last year or so, and it's a lot different than anything else that's out there. It's got a really cool tone to it, very aggressive. I can't wait to tell you all about it. I'm sure we'll have one. I'm sure we'll have one on your lanyard.
I'll have one with some special engraving on it. So something, my son's name or something.
Yeah.
So y'all looking at doing that?
Yeah.
Hey, don't. I can shoot 5 of them a day. Don't be hating.
That's right.
I know y'all Creoles. Y'all cook them mergansers, them coots.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. I'm sure somebody in my family does, but I don't know. If I shoot one, I'll eat it. I don't shoot them for a reason.
That's right. So y'all talking about that new call maybe next season? I think it'll be ready by then, or
yeah.
It's
ready now. We're just it's ready now.
Pushing out.
Pull the trigger. Yeah,
that's right.
No, it'll be good. We've got several new calls coming out. I can't wait to tell you all about it. You'll get first look over everybody else. Maybe we'll have to come back on here and
I'll be excited. There you go.
Sometime around springtime, we can circle back around and.
Sounds good. I won't push you too much on it. Then I won't push too much on it, but even with the talking about how people can call y'all with decoy issues, I have a lot of people call you with call issues. Like, hey, I got this call the box. How many times do you FaceTime with somebody about you're retuning their call or give them some tips on the call or stuff like that? To me, that's a big thing as well. Continued customer service after the fact on that.
Yeah, the best duck call or best call for anybody is one that's tuned right for them. And it goes such a long way. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am right now if all the questions I had as a young, energetic teenager in high school wanting to learn how to blow a call, if no one would have helped me, I'd be nowhere, and so we pass that on and we want to help everybody. Here with COVID, we used to not do a ton of FaceTime stuff, but here recently we help everybody. We always try to, and a lot of our customers will reach out, Facebook Messenger or Instagram or call, and I'll talk to them on the phone. And a lot of times we can cover a lot of ground, and I'll just say, hey, what you need to do is spend a little time with your call. Send me a sound recording, let me listen to it, or send me a video, let me look at it. Send me a picture of the way your call's tuned, because I tune just about every one of them. Me and a handful of the people here do, but no matter who tunes it, we know there's a consistent way that we're sending things out. So every now and then there's an outlier, but when someone has an issue, a lot of times it's not the call is just not tuned right for them. So a lot of times it's, hey, yeah, this call's not right for you. I can tune it right for you now that I know what's going on. Send your call in to me. Let me try to retune it. I'll send it back. And when you get it back, call me. And that goes such a long way with people. And it really helps them because, I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you, I'll blow a duck call differently than a lot of other people. Not that I'm better. It's just no two callers are the same. So the way I tune calls for the masses when I'm tuning calls for people is not necessarily how I would tune one for me, because I'm asking the call to do different things. So I can't expect the customers that are buying our calls to all be super satisfied with the way they're coming. So we try to get right in the middle of the road, giving the call the ample amount of volume and range, whatever that call is designed to do. We're putting that call's best foot forward. And when people try the calls, it's either for them or not, and then we can tweak it a little bit. So uh, we talk to customers every day. Since we've been on the phone, I've got 3 emails about people wanting to, hey, which duck and spec call would you prefer? I tried some of yours at Max Prairie Wings last year, really liked the strike. Would you be willing to help me? I mean, that was 6 minutes ago. I got this email every day, all day. People want to know how to progress themselves in calling. And even if they're not buying a power call, we want to help. Just because we're not going to tune anybody else's call, but we'll tell them if something's not right for them. Just because we want them to be happy, whether that's them giving their money to us or going somewhere else. We want our customers to be successful, and even if they don't end up buying one of our calls, at least we know they're out there and they can trust us. So it goes a long way with the end consumer, and we're just duck hunters like them, so we know that
Yeah.
they appreciate it.
And even then, I think you brought up a good point about Max. What I would have told that person was, man, I really wish you'd have bought it while you was here. If we could have tuned it for you, on the
Right.
spot, because like when we was at Rogers, I guess it was 2 seasons ago. My buddy was really wanting one of y'all's ignites, and he's like,
Mhm.
"Hey, you just order one. We just order one." I'm like, "We're gonna be there hunting on the Rogers weekend." I said, Brook and Kyle and all, they're gonna be there. I said, "Let's go
Right.
buy you one, and then let them listen to you blow on it, and then you can go
Yeah.
from there." And that's what he
Right.
did. You made a few cuts on it, handed it back to him, and it was, he's like,
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Yeah. It goes such a long way. I wish I could tune every call that was purchased from us, not Canada Goose stuff, because that is not my specialty, but every duck call and spec call that we sell, I wish I could sit down with the person who's spending hard earned money on it, because a lot of times most callers aren't good enough to where they can adjust to the call. A lot of times people aren't hunting 50 days a year like you and I are necessarily. It's, hey, I'm planning on going hunting in 2 weeks. I'm going for 10 days. I've got 2 weeks to practice. And if I can just tune that call for them, they don't have to practice for 2 weeks. Not that they shouldn't not practice, but I can make it so much easier for them. And hey, this is what you're wanting. This is what you're wanting to do. I can manipulate the call and help you take a shortcut there, and it'll make your life a lot easier, or you won't have to build up as much air, or you won't have to learn a new way to blow a call. The best call for anybody, no matter what name brand is on the call, is the one that's tuned for them, period. It will always be that way. Um, if you're a really good caller, you can make them all sound good. If you're not a really good caller, reach out to people, because there's a lot of people out there that want to help you. Myself, everybody, our competitors, call any duck call company that's reputable and just say, hey, this is what I want. This is what I'm using now. This is what I'm looking for. Can you help me? Uh, and you're not going to get told no. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Ask for help. You'll find somebody else on the other end of the phone that's just wanting to help you, because they've been there at one point or another, and they want to truly help you. It's really cool about our industry is no one's really cutthroat. There's some people who feel that way, but I want to go shoot ducks. I mean, there's
Yeah.
no reason to be mad at everybody.
Well, as we kind of start bringing everything together here, uh, kind of one of the points I want to bring out, and again, what's brought me, to stick with y'all, and other than y'all just kicking me away a lot of time, it's just
Oh
that
shoot.
the service have to sell, right? Like y'all are not saying you want somebody to
Yeah.
call you every day of the week. I mean that works, but there's an issue, there's a problem, there's a question, when
Yeah.
and what that does to me is, even in my world, if when that continues to happen, or if I have not an issue, but I have a question, I get an answer, or hey, what do you usually use for the timber? And I start getting input, I would stick with more mallard, more drakes over hens, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
That kind of continued relationship with your customer, to me, brings the customers back for more and more, and it just keeps spilling over and spilling over. And people in the blinds, their friends talk about the products a bit. It's not, that right there with the Higdon guys. It's, I called Brook at Higdon about that, and he
Yeah.
recommended doing this, and that's why I got it set up like this. Or Kelly was talking about my call, and so I thought I maybe wanted this one, but Kelly told me, why don't I go with this one? It might be beneficial to me to try this one
Sure.
out. And to me, that relationship, like I said, relationships over sponsorships, and then even then, talking about the business wise, relationships over business, I think the business will come, and y'all been a key success
Sure.
to that. It comes eventually. It brings itself in.
Yeah. And that's just, it's the right way to do things. We're not looking to get rich quick. I mean, yeah, that's great. We're doing wonderful here. But it's our foundation. It's treating people the right way, truly caring about what the customer is experiencing. We want the feedback. Everybody call here and just ask. if you're not enjoying something or you've got constructive criticism, we thrive on it. We want to make stuff better because honestly, we want to make stuff better for us too. We hunt with this stuff and we're using it. So you treat people the right way, even if we don't capture the sale, you build that relationship, you learn something. There's no need to be frustrated and just, try to take somebody to the bank and deceive them. It's, you know what? Yeah, it may not be right for you, or thank you for the feedback. We're going to work to make sure that the product you buy next year isn't that way, and building that trust. It's the long game, solid foundation, treat people the way you want to be treated, and you get to stay in business for 30 years. That's what we've built this house on, and quality customer service and innovation is where we rest our head. And if we ever quit doing that, I don't know. I don't know if our future look as bright, but duck hunters really appreciate it, and I know we do too. It's the way people deserve to be treated.
Oh yeah, well, I'm sold on it. Like I said, y'all are with me until y'all boot me off. So I'm like that bad rash that shows up when the work's over. But
Sure.
but I mean it's good products all the way around. Like I said, and once y'all started combining stuff, to me it made more sense. All the companies being together, and then even y'all's TV program with y'all emerging media. I mean, y'all got great things going on, and I know Ira, he'll post little sneaky pics of new products he's working on every now and then, get me all excited.
Yeah.
And then
He loves it.
I'm about the gear as I am about anything else. I've been, my shed's just slap full of stuff. Well, when would you use that? Well, I might use that if I was to do this, type
The
deals.
man who
I'd rather
dies with
have
the
it, not
most
need
toys wins.
it. That's right. So, but Brooke, I appreciate your time today. And like I said, if anybody has any questions, they just need to reach out to the Higdon Outdoors, email customer service, whatever, with any product questions. A lot of times y'all's YouTube videos have a lot of how-tos on there. Plug in explanations, pulsators. What's your go-to? Let me finish this off. What is your go-to decoy motion, not motion? What's the one you're always carrying with you?
Battleship power packs. I'm a
Yeah.
firm believer, no matter where I'm hunting, black and white contrast. It's the name of the game. On sunny days, you're going to see the black ducks. On cloudy days, you're going to see the mallard drakes. Big, beautiful. They're going to be seen. And then the pulsator. You tell me I can pick 24 non-motion decoys and one motion decoy to hunt with for the rest of my life. I'll take 24 power packs and one pulsator every day of the week. That's what I'm hunting with, and it just what I believe in. I'm a firm believer. I've used it. I've seen the success. I've looked at a lot of drone footage. That is my go-to: the pulsator, battleship power packs.
Well, good deal. That's a good note to end on. Brooke, I appreciate your time, buddy, and look forward
Absolutely.
to maybe spend some time in the water with you next year.
Come on, you know where we are. Let the ducks get here. Let the ducks get here first,
Yeah,
and we'll call you.
Yeah. Don't beat the ducks, huh?
That's right.
All right. Well, appreciate it, buddy.
No problem.
Yeah. Bye.